So I'm finding there's a new trend going on in local gardens. I think this is a national thing, but it's really pronounced here, at least in the mountains of Arizona, for the customer, the influence that we have. And so we are seeing fruiting plants, anything that produces edible, fruiting, vegetable, herbs are off the charts. I mean, just we can hardly keep them in stock. And so I thought I'd take just a moment to share with you which ones you can grow at this altitude. And it's a challenge because you're going to be tempted. You're going to be shown as you go shopping for fruit trees, for berries, for different plants. You'll be shown things that are really meant for the deserts. That's because our media outlets are from Phoenix. Our ag school, so every state has a university that represents the agriculture information, disseminates that out to their state, all the counties in that state. And we have a local ag agent in every county. So this is a national program. And so that our national university is U of A, Tucson. So you got Tucson and Phoenix disseminating agricultural advice all the way throughout northern Arizona. And that stuff, as soon as they start talking about palm trees, just turn it off. It's not going to pertain to you. We need varieties that bloom a little later here, especially with fruit trees. So if you get a desert variety of fruit tree, it's going to bloom in February. And the frost is going to come and take the fruit. And so if you've got an apple tree or a peach tree, and it's never produced fruit, an apricot, oh my gosh. If you got one that never produces, that's because you have the wrong variety. It blooms too early and the frost takes all the tree's healthy. It just blooms too early. And so the frost takes the fruit or the flowers. So you need varieties that bloom later. And so those are all the ones. And then also it could be you need a plant that's older. So fruit trees specifically need to be about 7 years old before they're old enough to start blooming and fruiting. There's a maturity thing. Youngsters just don't produce fruit. Older folks do. And so all the fruit trees we have here, so we know what kind of customer wants to shop here at our garden center. They don't want to wait. They're impatient. I want fruit this year. I don't have all day. I'm older. I want it now. And so we bring in fruit trees that are at least 7 years or older. I've got some plums that are probably 10, 15 years old. I mean, they're instant trees. They're producing fruit now in the racks. They're old enough to produce fruit right now. So the ones you really want to start with, I would suggest starting with apples and pears at this elevation. They're the last of all the fruit trees, out of all the apricots, nectarines, plums, peaches, apricots, cherries. Out of all those, apples and pears bloom the latest. So they're just now starting to blossom. So we're well past the risk of frost taking their fruit. So you're much more consistent. Start with that. Pick your favorite. Honeycrisp, Fuji's, Red Delicious, Granny Smith's, pick your favorite. And then make sure that that's a late bloomer. The desert varieties will be in bloom in March. Of course, at this altitude, you're not going to get apples because the frost is going to take them off. So be careful with that. The next one that you'd want to focus on would be cherries and peaches. They bloom a little bit earlier than apples and pears, but far later than, let's say, apricots. And so then go to those two. If you like pitted fruits, focus on peaches and cherries. Then it would be plums. The ones I wouldn't start with apricots. I'm only going to have one fruit tree, and I want to make sure I've got fruit every year, and I only want apricots. Oh, that one is the first of all the series, even a late bloomer. We've got the latest blooming apricots. We've got Mormon apricots, Chinese apricots, and Tilton. Those are the three that bloom the absolute latest out of the 36 varieties of apricots. Those are the ones that bloom the latest. Those are the ones we sell here. But even still, those will bloom before an apple or a pear will. So start with apples and pears, then go to peaches and cherries, then start planting plums, then plant nectarines and apricots. And then we got berries. So blackberries, raspberries, they grow really well here. I mean, they're amazing. You have so much production. Grapes grow surprisingly well here. So you can have many, many grapes, large clusters of grapes. They grow really well up here. And then you can also grow figs, pomegranates. Although the figs will grow, you need a hardy variety here, so it won't get killed off. So there's several varieties that are hardy enough to produce up here. They don't grow into trees at this elevation. The cold tends to knock them back, and they act more like a perennial. They hibernate underground and come back fresh. Or you see fig bushes more than you'll see a fig tree. So down in Phoenix, in those areas, they grow into full-on like trees, like apricots or figs filling this tree. Here it's more of a bush, but actually it's a full, like sweet as you can be fig. Those will grow up here. So I guess the point being here, verify the variety. Do your homework or ask for its advice. Talk to a neighbor. Hey, I love the way that thing produces. What is that? Ask them and then buy that. Get the right age so that they're old enough to produce. And then we can show you how to actually put them in the ground so they root out and really produce. Okay, that's your fruit trees for up here. Got to take a break. Be right back after this.